Today, we are excited to welcome the spiritual investor to the show. She's a former financial executive who walked away from corporate success to pursue a spiritual path that connects energy, intuition, and money. Ooh. Now, she helps people build true financial freedom by investing in alignment with their soul's purpose. Elizabeth has guided thousands of seekers and entrepreneurs to rewrite their money stories, stop living paycheck to paycheck, and actually create wealth that feels authentic. I'm feeling Karen's excitement level grow by the second. We are thrilled to welcome her to the Skeptic Metaphysicians, Elizabeth Ralph. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I need to ask right up front, you had a very successful corporate career. What in the world went through your head to say, I'm going the spiritual route?
You know, just like a lot of people, we have these things that we want to do, and it's kind of become, the more illogical it is, the more it really sometimes becomes from us, because if it was from the thinking mind, then it would seem logical. And so it didn't seem logical that I would walk away from a career on a financial floor making six-figure bonuses. But I was like, you know what? Every time I step in the elevator and go up to this high security floor, I mean, I loved the people I worked with. I loved the job. But every time I did that, I felt like, God, like a part of me has to just sit here and just, I don't know, go away. Or like there was a part of me that was just felt like it was leaving. And it was really hard to explain. And I felt kind of like a whiny baby, like very ungrateful too, every time I mentioned it, even to myself. So what I decided to do is I just decided to choose. So if that's what I was feeling, then I would choose to buy my way out of it. That way, I could always stay in money neutrality, which is the place that I've always lived with money. That's what I teach. And I'm like, so how can I create the setup for money neutrality rather than worrying about an amount of money? Because the money neutrality is the energetic greatest opening to money. And every single time, money will follow you there. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, it took a whole lot of courage, though, to take that step. Because,
You
like you
know,
said, you did walk away from six-figure bonuses, for God's sake.
But she was paying with her soul.
Well, I hear you. And Elizabeth, you are speaking to my soul right now. I don't know how many times I've talked about it on the show, and to Karen. That is where I am right now. Every time I go into the office, I feel like a little part of me is missing, is lost.
Your boss doesn't listen to this, does she?
No, I love my boss. The only good thing about my job is my boss. Hi, Stephanie. But it took a lot of courage. I'm at the point where I don't think I have the courage to just walk away from anything that is keeping my family afloat.
hmm Well, you would if you didn't see any lack in it, because then you couldn't actually feel like you needed courage to replace whatever it is you feel like you're going to need to replace.
I have a whole lot of lack. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, typically with myself, like the simplest plan ends up being the best for me, because it's almost like, and I feel like when we get plans like from knowingness, like I don't know, you know, you have kids, right? You didn't have to call and ask someone, how do I raise my kid? It's just a knowingness, right? It's like oh, you did.
Well,
Do you have a knowingness about something else?
do I have a knowing about something
I
else?
don't know.
I know how to eat like no one's business.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. No, I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, no, we're teasing, but we did know, like, but we were scared leaving the hospital. Like, how are we going to take care of this life? But yeah, it was instinctual for us.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we also look back on those really scary moments as some of the best moments of our life. Yet going forward, if we look at our future, we're afraid to live those.
So you know what my next question is going to be, right?
It's infinite possibility.
There's one question, and that is how. How does someone go from lack to neutrality?
I'm sure you get this a lot. You know, you're talking about making six-figure bonuses, but most people aren't. So how does someone that doesn't have that situation get the courage to take these steps?
Well, money is all relative because money is ones and zeros. So a six-figure bonus to me, that could be the same thing as $1 million bonus to someone else. That could be the same thing as a $1,500 bonus to someone. So we have to understand that money is only defined by our own personal relationship with it. So I think that's the first thing is what is your relationship to the certain amount of money that makes you feel at ease? And how can you buy your way into that based on knowingness and choices? I knew, like, I had this phrase came to me when I was, in my early 30s, because I retired at 39. So the phrase, it didn't even really make sense. It's just that I kept hearing it. And what it was you're going to need options in your 40s. And it was almost like I kind of trusted it more because I didn't have any definition. It also served me well because it applied everywhere. I remember talking to my best friend on the phone at lunch, and I was just miserable, and I was like, she's like on a boat on the lake, and don't you want to come up and all this, and I'm like, but I'm going to need options in my 40s. Now, I'm painting this picture. It's not like I've like struggled and stressed out. I mean, I did have a great life, and like I said, I did love the job, but I knew that I didn't want to be in a corporate office kind of surrounded by the glass wall, which felt like it was closing in for an extended period of time, because I did know deep down that I was going to have to give up a part of myself to keep doing it into my late 40s, 50s, and 60s. And it was just, there's no wrong or right, but there is a very solid answer for you, Will, that makes like where you're just like, it feels like a hammer just landed. You're like, no, that's what I'm doing. And then once you get that, there's no such thing as courage.